Hello everyone, and welcome to episode number 6 of RuneSecrets, the series in which we delve into the mysteries of the RuneScape lore. I'm your host, Crondis, and today we will be discussing god symbols, one of the most, if not the most recognizable indicators of specific gods. What are they? What do they mean? What are their origins? We look into all of these and more as we comb through all of the known god symbols in the game. So let's start out with the god symbols that we know a general origin of. First off, we have Papa Smurf himself, Saradomin, whose symbol is consistently a 4-pronged star with various thicknesses depending on where you find it. One of the most prominent places you would see the symbol on Saradomin's person, at least in his original 5th Age model, is on the crown he wears, an elder artifact known as the Crown Archival. At first it might seem odd that Saradomin's symbol would be on an elder artifact, but with a little help from Jagex moderators and various places, we had concluded that Saradomin took the symbol from the artifact itself and adopted it as his own. This means that the symbol was originally related to the elder gods, though whether the symbol is for a single elder god or something else entirely, we aren't entirely sure. Next on the list we have Armadil's symbol, which unironically is a pair of wings. While it might be easy to write the symbol off as just a representation of his own wings, seeing as he has 4 of them, we actually have to once again look at the elder artifact. In fact, it's Armadil's favorite artifact, the Siphon, aka the Staff of Armadil. Go figure. On this artifact we can plainly see the wing symbol, as well as the star symbol that Saradomin took. And once again, with some JMod help, we know that Armadil adopted this elder symbol as his own. But I mean, at least this one seems fitting for him. Next up, we have Bandos' symbol, which is... How do you even describe this thing? Well, whatever you call it. We learn of its origins in the Quest of the Mighty Fall, where we learn of the ridiculously designed weapon known as the Kaizaj. According to Zanuck, a tribe of orcs created this weapon for Bandos to show their strength to him, which was their weird way of showing him thanks for creating their kind. When Bandos forced his followers to fight to the death with this weapon, he became tremendously pleased with its results. The victim's body would be horribly disfigured, and even the wielder would suffer injuries simply from attempting to use the weapon due to its confusing design. Bandos saw a mighty weapon like this as a symbol of his power, and began branding everything in his name with a symbol in its likeness. It's no secret that the gods of the Menethite pantheon are heavily inspired by the gods of the Egyptian pantheon, along with other beliefs in ancient Egyptian mythology. Because of this, it's quite easy to identify the meaning of the next 2 symbols, Echlairon and Amascut, both of whom symbol is an Egyptian character known as an Ankh, with Echlairon's being upright and Amaskut's being inversed. In Egyptian culture, the Ankh was known as the breath of life, and was closely related with the cycle of life, and would often be both painted and physically placed in the tombs of pharaohs, to help the souls of the pharaohs continue their journey into the next life. This closely corresponds with Echlairon and Amaskut's original duties as the gods of afterlife, death, and rebirth, and as such are quite fitting symbols for them. While we're on the desert gods for the moment, I'll just mention that we're not going to touch on the symbols of Tumeken's aspects, Scabarus, Atmekan, Crondis, and Het, as they are simply symbolically showing the type of creature Tumeken originally created them from. Next we have Tuska's symbol, which is something resembling an anchor. This one's pretty easy. It's tusks, because Tuska. Tusk. Yay for naming puns! And finally on our list of knowns we have V, whose symbol is a V. Yeah, that one's pretty self-explanatory too. Now we can move on to a list of the symbols that we don't know an origin of, and I'll try my best on each of them to give a decent theory about where I think they come from. First up, we have the dynamic duo themselves, Xeris and Siren, whose symbols are an inverted Celtic cross and a diamond, respectively. You might be wondering why I'm cramming these 2 together. Well, this is because Xeris and Siren have the same origin, and thus their symbols could as well, which is what leads me to believe that this could give us a bit of insight. Now, what is this, you might be asking? This is a mini-map from the Nihil area on Freniske, and this to me, looks like an odd combination of both Xeris and Siren's symbol. Notice the diamond shape around the outside, and the cross intersection in the middle. What I propose is that this is actually a symbol related to Ma herself, and her connection to the concept of potential. with Xeris and Siren being created by Ma as representations of the dark and light sides of potential. My theory is that they each took half of this symbol and made it their own. It's also worth noting that this is not the same as this. God damn it, Asanadra. Next up, we have the symbol of Guthix, which appears to resemble a tear or a drop of running water running down a surface. While it was originally thought that this symbol was meant to be corresponding with the Tears of Guthix, there seems to be a bit of conflicting sources. In the quest's meeting history, we see a flashback scene involving Guthix at the very beginning of the First Age, where we can clearly see the symbol on the back of his robe. As you might have guessed, this conflicts with the idea that it was derived with the Tears of Guthix, which happened at the end of the Third Age. Of course, we could always write the flashback off as simply a way the player imagined the events transpiring and the way Guthix may have looked at the time, rather it being a real look into the past, but it's a conflict nonetheless. Next on the list we have Zamorak's symbol, which appears to be a pair of horns. This symbol is a bit more difficult to pinpoint the origin of, as Zamorak doesn't even wear the symbol on himself, and as such we aren't even sure if he adopted the symbol prior to or after becoming a god. The common theory is that his symbol is a pair of demon horns, as the Vernic demons were the bulk of his forces in the early Third Age, and logic would dictate that this is probably true. My current theory is that this is a symbol he and the Avernic forces used on Infernus during the liberation against the Chthonian demons, and that Zamorak adopted this symbol as his own upon his return to Gielinor due to growing accustomed to it on Infernus. Next up we have Tumeken, whose symbol is a thin semicircle with 8 prongs sticking out of it. While it's never specifically stated that this is his symbol, it does seem to appear in areas where he's mentioned, along with being present on the body of Tumeken's shadow in the Missing My Mummy quest. Taking a close look at this symbol, it's easy to see that this is probably meant to symbolize a rising sun, as Tumeken himself is the god of the sun and Caridian culture. Finally, we have Marimbo, and wouldn't you believe Jagex would mess up and change the symbol of such a seemingly minuscule god, not once, but twice. The first symbol appears to be a diamond with a prong sticking out the bottom edge. The second symbol is a triangle with the same prong at the bottom, which first appeared outside the game in fan art, which somehow tricked developers into putting it into the game. And finally, the third symbol is an odd recreation of the first symbol with the top corner cut off of it. With the Marimbo vs. Brassica Prime holiday event, it was stated that the third symbol was created in order to keep it from being confused with Siren's symbol, and that it would be used as the primary symbol from now on for Marimbo. So we'll just focus on it. Because of Marimbo's party personality, the only conclusion I can draw from this symbol is that it's a symbolic representation of a wine glass, which would further be supported by the fact that Marimbo became a god for a drinking contest. Because why create a well-written, serious character for a god when you can make a hedonist? God damn it, Jagex. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed this edition of RuneSecrets in which we delved into the mysteries of god symbols. Do you have theories about how certain symbols were created? Let us know by leaving a comment in the section below, or connect with us in-game or over on Twitter. And remember guys, have a great day.